Once in a vast and forgotten land where green valleys met golden deserts there lived a boy named Laren who was known for his silence and depth of thought. Unlike the other children who played in the mud and chased wild goats, Laren would sit by the old riverbank listening to the stories the water told when it crashed against rocks or whispered past the sand. He had no siblings and his parents were simple clay pot makers known for their honesty and patience. They taught him to speak less and observe more, and though others sometimes teased him he never grew angry or bitter. Instead he watched the sky, memorized the stars, and listened to the earth as if it spoke in riddles. One evening as the sun slipped behind the dunes painting the world in orange, a strange man arrived at their village, his face covered in cloth, his eyes glowing with something between sadness and wisdom. He walked slowly leaning on a curved staff and spoke to no one. He sat outside the village well and simply waited. Laren saw him and felt an odd pull in his heart. Something about the man's silence felt familiar, as if they shared an understanding without words. That night Laren brought him bread and dates, and though the man said nothing he nodded slowly in thanks. When Laren turned to leave the man whispered, "Not all voices speak with sound." Laren turned around startled, but the man was again silent. The next morning the man was gone, but where he sat the sand was carved with symbols that no one in the village understood. Laren stared at them for hours until he realized they moved slightly as if alive. He never spoke of this to anyone. Days passed and Laren began dreaming of places he had never seen, forests of blue leaves, rivers of fire, skies filled with whispers. These visions came with feelings of peace and fear mixed together. One morning while helping his parents dig clay from the earth he found a small black stone. It was smooth, round, and oddly warm to the touch. When he held it close he heard faint murmurs as if many voices spoke from far away. Afraid but curious he kept it hidden in a pouch around his neck. Weeks turned into months and the stone began to glow softly whenever he helped someone. Once when a child fell and scraped her knee, Laren helped her stand and the stone pulsed with light. Another time when he gave an old man water during a dry spell, the stone hummed gently. One night the village chief fell ill and no one could cure him. Laren sat by the chief and placed the stone in his hand, whispering that he hoped he would heal. The next morning the chief was standing outside smiling at the sky. The villagers praised Laren, but he said nothing, only looked at the stone and wondered what it truly was. Then one day travelers came from the west, dusty and tired. They told stories of a great city where knowledge lived and towers touched the clouds. They spoke of the Temple of Voices, a place where wisdom was stored in crystals and old souls whispered through walls. The moment Laren heard this his heart raced. He kn